UFC 320 just went down, and that card was a banger. The last three fights were all wars, and I'm going to break them all down. So, in case you missed it, or just want to hear a recap of Merab Dvalishvili versus Cory Sandhagen, let's get straight into it, and also break down who they should both fight next. Now, first and foremost, even before the fight started, Joe Rogan mentioned that Merab was running the day after he beat O'Malley for the first time to secure the title. I don't know if you've heard the story about DC going to Merab's house. Joe's only said it on every single JRE MMA show, but that's beside the point. It just pisses me off the fact that he's always bringing up this story. But after that, and we get into round one, Cory actually hit some shots that stung Merab. He was able to deny the takedowns, and Merab only landed one in the first round. So I'd actually give Cory that round, which may have been the only round he got, except for maybe four as well, was possibly his round two. Other than that, Merab showed his level once again with 20 takedowns over the course of the five, passing 100 takedowns altogether. I believe that's even better than he did on Piotr Jan. So that's impressive. He's way past the record before for takedowns. So yeah, very impressive. But look, I think the story of this fight here was that we knew Merab would get those takedowns. What we didn't, however, know though was that how well Merab was going to do on the feet. To put things into perspective, Jury and Khalil landed 137 strikes combined over 3 rounds. In 5 rounds, Merab landed 114. We all know that Merab's cardio and pace is legendary, but I do not think anyone thought he'd outstrike Sandhagen. Maybe you did, I don't know, but I assumed whilst he would try and strike with Sandhagen, his biggest moments would be in the wrestling, which for the most part he continued to, of course, show dominance in. However, the biggest moment of this fight clearly came from Merab in round two when he rocked Sandhagen with not really any specific shot, but a flurry of strikes to the head against the cage, which wobbled Sandhagen and almost finished him. The exchange was almost around like 30 to 40 seconds long. Merab had him against the fence and on the ground with ground and pound, almost finishing him by TKO. However, Merab couldn't get him out of that fight. And look, I'm gonna be honest, the fight could have been stopped. Any other day of the week, it could have been stopped. It was close. So whilst Merab didn't KO Sandhagen, he showed striking skills, once again proving that he's one of the best this sport has seen, and to me, easily now is the definitive bantamweight GOAT. Now the judges scored the bout. There was two judges who scored the bout 49 to 45, and one scored it 49 to 46. Here are the official scorecards. Every judge gave Sandhagen only one round. Eric Colin did not give Merab a 10-8 for the second round. To me, that's crazy. I think it was a definitive 10-8 because after he nearly finished Sandhagen, landing a significant amount of shots already, which already probably would have given him the 10-8, he took him down like 5 times in that same round. Merab is impressive. Even though he didn't get a finish like last time round, I still think he has performed very, very well. No doubt about it. So, the question is, who should Merab and Cory fight next? Now, we do have some problems with Merab, and none of them are entirely his fault. He said that he's open to fighting come December. However, the man has already pretty much beaten every single contender at this point. Not just regular wins, though. He dominates every single contender to the point where it kind of just feels pointless to have him rematch these guys. He said Piotr Jan, who's obviously a great fighter that's coming off of a 3-fight win streak, since losing to Merab, but Merab 50-45 to him on every scorecard. It's impossible to hype anyone up for a fight that was so dominant and decisive the first time round, but I think I have found a solution. Merab's next contender should lie in the winner of Umar Nurmagomedov versus Mario Bautista, which takes place on the next card in Abu Dhabi, October 24th. Now, this seems pretty obvious to me because either Merab gets a new, fresh contender in Mario, who people hate because of his fight with Aldo. So that will create even more buzz for our current champ, as people would love to see Merab take victory over Batista, when usually Merab is fighting dudes that, people love. So that would be great for Merab's, I think, just his status. Or we get to see the rematch between Merab and Umar. Now, I hate the Dagestani glaze. Umar did not deserve the first fight, really, other than the fact that there wasn't a whole lot more other options out there at the time. However, I think in this case, I'd be more than happy to see this rematch, so long as Umar gets a win beforehand. Umar, in my opinion, took the first 2 rounds of their last fight and lost within the last 3. So that was probably the closest fight that Merab has had in the last 5 years, and definitely as a champ. I don't want to see Merab move up yet. I think he still needs time. He's only been champ here for about a year now, so let him get a couple more, and if we fully have nothing else left for him after that, then hell, let him move up. But for now, unless Pantoja moves up, which we've all wanted, hell, we've all wanted Pantoja versus Merab. It's a super fight and a banger. But John Anik stated that Pantoja has talked about Merab before and simply says he's too big for him and that he would have to make permanent changes to move up a division. So maybe not, but both of those guys are so dominant, I'd love to see it. Now, in terms of Sandhagen, I think he showed himself off well. Merab very, very rarely kept him on the ground. He almost always stood up, but he was clearly dominated and probably shouldn't look to seek another title shot for a while. Now, there is one other man who probably can't look to seek another title shot in their eyes for some time too, and that's Sugar Sean. These two both have yet to fight one another. It's a fresh matchup between two fun strikers who need to re-look at their place amongst the division. I think this would be a banger. If their schedules can't line up, I could either see a Yarn rematch. However, I'd rather see Yarn rematch O'Malley. So maybe a Batista fight if Mario loses to Umar, because Cory has beat him previously. However, I gotta say, I don't think either of those two make as much sense as O'Malley. Now, once again, yeah, I would say that Merab should verse the winner of Umar and Mario. That probably will mean that he won't be able to fight in December. It would be awesome if he gets 4 consecutive wins in the calendar year of 2025. I don't remember the last time a champ did 4 wins in a row. I don't remember if that's even happened. I can't remember off the top of my head. Maybe it has. Let me know in the comments. But I don't know if Umar or Mario would be ready. They're both pretty inactive, so I don't think that will happen. I mean, you even heard, bro. I don't know if you guys heard this, but Merab was flaming Aljo, saying, "Look, I'd be more than happy to fight like Piotr Jan again, because sometimes you can get clipped. Sometimes the best fighter doesn't always win." And he was like, "Bro, remember what happened with O'Malley and freaking Aljo? Aljo was in his corner, and he was basically mocking Aljo, taking the piss out of Aljo. Aljo was not happy. But yeah, look, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to continue posting more for UFC 320, recapping and asking the question of what's next. So please subscribe and hit that bell. Like too, it would mean the world if you could. If you've made it this far, let me know who you'd like to see next for these next two. And yeah, look, thank you guys so much, and goodbye.